Hello, it's on. Can you guys all hear me?
Yes.
Perfect. So I think a lot of people are hanging out upstairs. They're missing the true party down here, aren't they? So I want to welcome you to the 20th Annual Seniors Conference from the Area Agency on Aging, 5 County. We have some wonderful staff, we have some wonderful presentations, and we're glad you guys get to join us this year. It has been a hard 2 years. We've had to learn to struggle through isolation, trying to work in really odd situations. You ever tried to do a Zoom meeting from home and your dogs run through and bark? I did have a coworker, well, she was a state coworker, not mine, and her husband walked naked back behind a Zoom camera. So we've had some pretty awesome things happen this last couple of years. So we want to welcome you. Our seniors conferences started 20 years ago. Our first one was held in St. George. And we thought, oh, we're gonna have a huge total of people show up. We had 26. Well, I have this love for Iron County because I live here. And I said, let's move it to Cedar. So we held it at the library. We were expecting maybe 50 people. 112 came. I love the woos back there, thank you. And we've built every year. And so we've been hosting it here for 18 years, except for 2019. We had this beautiful thing called the pandemic happen. We got to find out how strong we were. And we had this great conference planned, and those costumes were impeccable. We had Glenda the Good Witch, we had Toto, we had the Wicked Witch, and we had Dorothy, and we didn't get a chance to wear those costumes for you. So my direct supervisor, the AAA director, is Carrie Shamla. She was the Wicked Witch because I made her. And I was Glenda the Good Witch because I'm good. And we did the promos and we did it by Zoom. And if it wasn't for this lady down here, Amy, so I want you guys to give her a round of applause. Techno genius. She's saying no, but she has helped us do movies. She's helped us do conferences live stream. We've had so much fun and we couldn't have done it without Amy. So I just wanted to appreciate her publicly so you guys know what a big part of it is. And I'm just glad to have her. Our staff too, there's 24 of us wandering around today. Some are dressed up. We have Susan right now is in here. And I think I saw Lisa towards the back. And then the rest are all around and will be coming around. So we'll be here. We also want to take the time to thank our sponsors. And I've got to find the sponsor page. Okay, there it is. When you have gloves on, your hands don't work. Oh, she's got a flyer for me. So, right, she really was prepared and I wasn't. So it's our Southern Utah Conference and our sponsors are Amana Senior Care, Utah Geriatric Education Consortium, Southern Utah Veterans Home, Ovation Sienna Hills, and Health Choice Utah. So thank you sponsors for sponsoring us. And thank you everyone for attending. And now I'm going to turn it over to Amy, our techno genius, so she can introduce our panel. Thank you everybody. Good morning, everyone. I am far from a techno genius, I promise. I know just enough to get by. But we are live streaming now, so I guess there is that. So if anybody's out there joining us on YouTube, welcome. I do want to just take a moment and introduce our panelists. We're going to start off the morning with a fraud panel, and I thought, you know, about 8:15 this morning, man, I should have come up with a better name than fraud panel. but I didn't. So broad panel is what we have. So we have our panelists, and we'll just go ahead and do our panelists want to just give us your name and what agency you represent? So we'll start with Darren.
Sure. So now, that's loud. My name is Darren Houghton. I'm with the Division of Aging and Adult Services. I'm with the Senior Medicare Patrol, which deals with Medicare fraud and other healthcare related scams. I'm also over the Senior Health Insurance Information Program. So I'm the Medicare guy of the state. So I help seniors and older adults with Medicare issues, claims, help them with enrollment and so forth. And I'm with the Division of Aging.
And I'm Brian Calloway, and I'm with the Utah Division of Securities. And with the Division of Securities, I'm the Director of Licensing and Corporate Finance, and I run the state of Utah's, fintech regulatory sandbox. But the Division of Securities licenses and regulates and investigates and educates our Utah investment advisors and broker-dealer agents and individuals that are not licensed who try to sell investments.
My name is Kaylin Wooten. That is loud. I'm with the Utah Attorney General's Office, and I'm the Director of the Medicaid Fraud and Patient Abuse Division. So we investigate and prosecute people who abuse, neglect, or financially exploit people. So I guess Darren's the Medicare guru, I'm the Medicaid.
My name is Dave Christensen. I'm an investigator with the Division of Consumer Protection. You can't really see it out there, but by show of hands, you know how many knew there was a Division of Consumer Protection even? So most people don't even know there is one. But we have investigators that investigate about 21 different laws that we enforce under consumer protection.
All right, so we have a wide variety of departments, expertise, all of these people who are dedicated to preventing and protecting against fraud in our communities. So I just want to throw out a couple of questions. We'll let our panelists kind of discuss and then share some experiences and stories. So for our panelists, what makes you passionate about your job? Let's go ahead and start with Brian on this one.
I love the Division of Securities. And I grew up as a young child digging through my dad's fire pit, his firebox, with wood in it, and it had all the stock quotes in it. And I came home from school once, and we had this oak entertainment center. Okay, I don't think they call them entertainment centers anymore. They're just TV stands, right? But back when they were entertainment centers, they had lights that were shining down on the television, and it made whatever I watched on television that much better. And I asked my dad, I said, where did we get this entertainment center? Like, how do we pay for this? And he said, it's from stock dividends. And as a kid, I didn't know what a stock dividend was, but I knew I wanted some of those. And what makes me passionate about my job is nowhere in the world are there more opportunities to help save people, a group of individuals that are trusting and loving and caring and can build what the definition is of community, like people that live in Utah. And because of that, that's the affinity, I call it affinity, that you have for one another, which is a really good thing. The reason I say it's an opportunity because it's a challenge, but a challenge phrased as an opportunity keeps us proactive, it keeps us on our toes, looking for individuals and people who would prey on those that pray. Okay. And that's something that we see a lot in our state. So nowhere in the world is there a better opportunity to help protect people that are loving and trusting than in Utah for people who would exploit that.
Dave, do you have an answer for us? What makes you passionate about your job?
Yeah, that's a wonderful question. And same thing, my background is I spent 40 years almost in law enforcement. Started in a little town called Pearland as a police officer, and then here in Cedar City many years ago. And I was with federal for many years, but during that time, My passion was to help people. Right now, in consumer protection, my passion is for protecting people and helping. Sometimes it's only being able to give them $20 back, but others have lost thousands, tens of thousands of dollars to scammers. And so the passion for me is doing everything I possibly can to scam the scammers. Sometimes we need to do that, is one thing, and to help those that have been scammed. And the wonderful thing about it is most of the people coming to us are good people. They're vulnerable and they feel bad because they made a mistake. And we just do everything we can to make them feel better and try to help them. Scamming is very passionate. Try to help them.
So there's a couple for me. The first was, back when I was a young kid, I had the opportunity to go visit my aunt in a nursing home. So this is 1977. You guys think back to nursing homes in 1977, what they were like? We got into the facility, we were walking to my aunt's room, and there was all those seniors that were just sitting in wheelchairs. And all they were doing was crying because nobody was taking care of them, and they wanted somebody just to be their friend. And as I was walking down the hall, it wasn't my aunt that all these people were out there asking for us to come visit with them. I felt really sad because I could only take a few minutes with them as I was going down the hall to finally talk to my aunt. And I didn't want to be in that situation, but I also wanted to be helpful in future situations because that does scare me, but at the same time, it made me very sad that these people had nobody to help them. The main point that got me passionate about my job is my wife's grandfather, Jimmy. He would go to the bank every week, pull money out from his local credit union. And since he would do this on a regular basis, he had to tell them, how many of you have your favorite tellers at your bank if you're going back into the bank? So you want to go to that teller. Well, that teller was his friend. And that friend of his took $50,000 of his money. What she would do is she would talk to him every time he came in on Friday, and he would ask to pull out money, and she pulled a little out extra for herself. Because she was his friend, he never checked his statements. And the good thing for him was that the bank actually called her. Otherwise, it would have kept going on for more than 5 years. That made me furious because if you can't trust your friends, who can you trust? And in this case, the bank was nice enough to help him get his money back as well. It was their employee that was committing a fraud. And in that case, I wanted to do everything possible under my job to help older adults to make sure that they were not victims of fraud.
I'm a registered nurse and an attorney, and back in 1984, when I went to nursing school, all of my friends wanted to work with pediatrics, so children, and labor and delivery with new babies. And from then on, my favorite patients were elderly who had such amazing life experiences, and I wanted to help them, and disabled people who had needs. And so and in the career admin where we investigated and prosecute people who have been abused, neglect, and exploitation, I feel like I'm still doing my nursing job where I'm protecting patients and helping people to be safe. And the nursing board actually voted. And even though I'm the attorney and I'm the director, I do so much with for people care. So it meant a lot to me, and I just wanted my whole career to have been helping vulnerable individuals.
We're going to start talking about some prevalent scams. Let's go ahead, Caitlin, why don't you go ahead and start? What do you see are some major fraud affecting older adults?
Unfortunately, my answer on this one is going to be because of the role we play, where we're involved with people who are elderly and have family members involved in their care, I would say that we see exploitation committed by family members. And that's a hard one for all of us to hear. I'm a mother, I'm a grandmother, and it breaks my heart to think that could happen to me. But it would be even worse if I felt so embarrassed, which I have issues with my kids. I've been embarrassed over the years and felt like, did I fail in this area? But if you ever face a situation where a family member or a loved one does something to you, abuse or neglect, and more commonly, exploitation, I need you to know today that you are not alone. It is the number one complaint Adult Protective Services gets, and it's the number one complaint we get. And we work as hard as we can to help people through it. That's the number one. And the number two is healthcare fraud scams. All of us want to feel healthy, and all of us love the dream. I have a few steps, and if somebody can tell me I could get the pain to go away and mobility to come back, I'd probably be able or willing to try a magic box. And I will tell you they don't exist, and people will take a lot of money because they know how badly we want that fixed. So and they're both hard. Dave, what would you say?
Not because they're gullible, but because they're just people that they go after. They believe that they can get to them, and the scammers know what to do. The imposter scams are the number one scam that we see. So imposters are someone who comes back. Remember, you received a call that was someone from the IRS. Those kind of calls, right? How many of you see about a call? I get them 2 or 3 times a day. So the common scam just relates to that is we like to scam the scammers. Call them pretend to be right into a scam. So we keep them on the phone as long as we possibly can. The longer we have them on the phone, the less of you will get contacted, right? So we enjoy it. But just an example is a young man I got on the phone to talk to me after he found out who I was. And he was in India. And before he went to become a scammer, people on his floor all making calls 24/7. Where did they mainly call? The United States. And he said he was making $1,000 a month. He's a very rich man in India. He said his floor was one floor with 100 people. He said there's hundreds of floors like his. That's the kind of thing. So we're not going to be able to stop. The other thing we deal with common scams. Tell you something, there's a lot of alarm companies out there, there's a lot of test control companies, some of them are very good. Some of them just want your money. And they'll lie to you, they'll scam you, they'll do the process and your money. Telephone calls. I'm going to tell marketers. A lot of people ignore it. There's the how many are on the do not call list right now. But the do not call list is only as good as on that list. And most people don't care about it if they're a scammer. And so they'll still call you. You ever over your money? We'll talk about that later. How to do that. Very commonly, others sites, hard to believe how age of 60 are on these dating sites that are single people and lonely, and they're looking for someone. You know, these sites, and again, there's applications. Money, it's a lot of money. And we money back usually, but it's a common
Yeah, we see all kinds of different types of fraud for investment, and really one of the largest one that we see is individuals that are acting as if they're licensed to sell investment. And so people will always kind of hold themselves out as if they have some bit of information or knowledge or some kind of investment idea that you just can't miss, right? That's the newest, flashiest, shiniest, investment opportunity, and usually they'll do it based on affinity, like I mentioned, and that's predominant. I'm a member of the board, even though for 20 years, just invest in me. Like, look, I've been super successful doing it. And a lot of times, individuals, when they say that, they'll try to act as if their house is in order, and they want to do your house in order, even though oftentimes they have multiple bankruptcies that people just don't know about. And if you would invest with them, they'll probably put you in an investment that you're not actually an investment. It's likely an insurance product, and they'll package it as if it's an investment that's safe. It's really not. One of the larger ones we're seeing now just have cryptocurrency. I mean, it's a type of economic environment that we're in with real estate as one's largest investment, typically going through appreciation and inflation, and stock markets, earnings are really kind of out of whack. Crypto and putting stuff, crypto assets, and operating in cash and crypto, which is anonymous. Individuals will pay cash. That means significant, but they'll pay cash to someone who's going to invest in cryptocurrency, crypto assets, online digital money, so to speak, or digital assets. And they'll see on their computer that their investment is actually going up, right? Well, it's just somebody then the money's already gone. And so when they come to us, they'll say, hey, I had this money and I invested it, but it was cash and wasn't tracked in a bank account anywhere, which makes it difficult for us, right? And then it goes into crypto, and sometimes it actually does go into crypto, which is also difficult to track. And that's part of the purpose of it. I invested this money, here's a picture of me with the bag of money. That was putting on the table a picture of the website that showed that my money went up, and none of that was going to work, right? So the biggest thing that they'll try to do is separate these two, right? Risk and reward. So got a second, let me play a game with you. Just try this one. So as an audience, I'm going to say a word. If you say the word that accompanies that word. Okay, so for example, peanut butter and jelly. Okay, we're good. We got that. Ketchup and, well, no, we're in Utah, so it's actually mayonnaise. Nice try. Nice try. Okay. Horse and buggy. All right, salt and hugs and. I didn't realize that it was a controversial. That's a little, you don't hear me say that, hugs and kisses. Here's a good one, Stockton and, okay, I like it. And that's Utah for sure. And then the updated one is compare and, we're updated compare individual Utah Jets, not quite as good as the statutes, right? Stockton alone. And then the two words, risk and reward. And so oftentimes, the biggest thing that we run into, the biggest scam that we have with investments is that people will say you have a really low risk product, like you're not going to be in the stock market, you're not going to lose your money, but you're going to have this huge reward. Okay, and the two don't go with each other. Okay, high risk can sometimes be high reward. A low risk is typically low reward. Just think of your bank accounts. No one put $100,000 in a bank account expecting to to have 10 million, you know, 2 months later, it's not work well together. And so that's where we see the most of, and that's the scheme that people run in Utah quite a bit.
So in Utah, we have people who don't answer their phones, even though you have yesterday that most average Utahns receive 3 scam calls a day. Now, some of you may be lucky to receive 4, and some may depends on how many mailing lists you sign up with and how right, you do free stuff, right? Well, these people are answering their phones, and there's 2 types of issues that are going on. First of all, they'll always say, "Are you in pain? How many of you in here are not in pain?" We got one that says he's not in pain. 2 that are not in pain. I don't believe you. I believe there's something that hurts somewhere. And they feed on that pain aspect. Go to where they might send you a back brace or a knee brace or whatever type of brace. Now, the problem with these particular items is that one, your doctor hasn't ordered them, right? You're talking to a person over the phone, they're playing on your pain, and they're sending you stuff to help alleviate that pain. So I met a lady in Price who had back pain. We don't have back pain, right? So she had her back brace. She was 5 foot, 110 pounds. And they sent her a double extra large back brace. So when she showed up at the senior center, she actually looked like a stormtrooper because it was from almost from her neck down to her waist. And I said, "Oh, man, obviously this is a problem. How long have you had this if we need to send this back?" And she'd had it for several months, and so we were able to send it back. But that meant for her in the future, purchase because they're submitted to Medicare, right? In that case, she had to wait to get a proper back brace instead. So, you know, we have to be very careful with those types of calls. The next thing is called genetic testing. You might have heard or have people call you and say, "We have this great test now that if you do this test, and what it is they send you a giant Q-tip." And how much do Q-tips cost? Not much. How much would you guess? $1? $2? This Q-tip, you stick it in your nose, you swirl it around, your wife sticks it in her nose and puts it in a box and sends it off to you. What they're checking is, well, do you have a genetic history of cancer? Are your prescriptions or have adverse effects with your body or so forth? And Medicare only covers these genetic tests on certain conditions. So what happens is you do this test and you send it back to them. And if Medicare denies it, Medicare then denies the bill, and the company sent you a bill for $10,000. That's one very expensive Q-tip, correct? So if you ever get a phone call on this is where you want to tell them no, and make sure that if your doctor is talking about it, then yes, that might be okay. But this is a good opportunity to never let anyone, especially your spouse, right? So if she does that, it's okay. You gotta do this, like, no, don't touch it. Those are the 2 problems.
So what can we have our audience know or do that can from this corona in the future? Let's go ahead and start there.
So my biggest thing for this group is we are so afraid to talk about things that are happening to us, right? The reason why you need to share with that is because your friends and families and acquaintances might be having the same thing happen to them, but are unwilling to share because of their pride, they're afraid, they're ashamed, and conversation. Hey, I received 2 phone calls today saying they're from the IRS. You need to tell your friends. I received a phone call about a back brace. Tell your friends. I received a package. I don't know where it came from. It has this device. Who do I need to talk to help fix this? If we became more vocal and sharing this information with That would be because you're the only one and you're not. But not everybody's willing to share it because they're ashamed. Go to that factor and talk about stuff. That's one of the best things you can do.
Yeah, for one, it's not your fault. Like, it's not your fault that people are calling you. One of my neighbors, before he passed away, now his name's Mark. Amazing. Yeah. Just about it. And so if it wasn't him talking about erectile dysfunction, talking about growing hair, breaking your back, but someone's in their house, or I'm sorry, someone was in jail and get out and they had access to a bunch of money. Funds to them. Have you ever heard the word wire? Wire tap, right? Like, run away from that. That's not a good conversation. If someone wants to wire money. Okay. It's not a so, I think most students we have these what I like to call courageous conversations. I had a Bob from the church house. He was still pretty tough, right? But I know it's non-family. That's great stuff. And be able to help them out. Caller ID is easy. Don't recognize the number or don't have the number programmed in your phone. Just want to go to voicemail. Like, trust me, there's nothing that's that important in fact. And then when it comes to investments, remember that your taxes are C. Right? We just know that. Or when it comes to your investments, CFP. Okay, so instead of the certified financial planner, and they're kind of the top of the top. That's the representative. Insurance, or dealer agent.
I think for me, my two guiding principles are: first, if somebody tells me an offer expires at that time, I decide my answer is no. There are times I get into different issues. It gets exciting, or I think it sounds really like a great problem I have, but I do not. A lot of companies that I don't understand fully. I feel behind in electronics to the point it can overwhelm me sometimes. I hear topics on the news and I understand just enough to feel a bit afraid, but I don't really understand what it means. But somehow I decide everybody else does, and I might look stupid if I ask. A great example. My mother never talked to me about Y2K. You all remember when we worried about Y2K and the calendar was going to switch over, and I don't know what was supposed to go wrong, but it was frightening. And there was a large box, an expensive looking box, and it said Y2K suit. And we opened it up. Space in it. I was really puffy was either to inherit, which I didn't get it. But somehow she had a fear that made her willing to buy a suit. And my brother is a CPA. I'm an attorney and a nurse. She's an educator. She didn't ask anybody. That's probably why she did it. So, imagine what she did. Don't make yourself and join my love for somebody else.
I have to agree with always want to the process is always very careful. Tell people talk to someone, call their school protection, call the securities, call these other agencies, talk to family members. Everything is very, very important. I had a little lady in my office, especially this last week. And $2,000. Just we went through it. She thought she won the lottery. And the first question I asked her, did you put in for the lottery? No. So I said, well, why would you think they sent it in the mail? I went $4 million for my family. I savings, her husband passed away, and she said everything wait to Spain. You said that, I was like, oh, of course, I never put in for the lottery. Need to be vigilant. Numbers are not going to stop. Last year in Utah, $4.3 million was lost in scams. Like I said, sometimes people don't report it because they're fearful and embarrassed. So that's just an estimate. It's the whole time $1 billion interest rate. Right. I'm going to stop waiting. Get calls, when you contact them, everything you don't send money to gift cards. That scammers, they will no legitimate company wants, like the IRS wants you to go send them $3,000 gift cards. Okay, that's what people say. People man, thank you for a period of time, $900,000 in gift cards. And he's been scammers. If you understand the process, you have to know it rather than talk.
Yes, we have about 4 minutes remaining in our panel time. So I'm going to give you 1 more minute. There is one thing you should walk out today knowing and doing. Let's go ahead and start with the end and work our way back.
Cover the number of commercial database, when you get contact. Myself, now you see, but all of us, GDP.
And final thought would be, if you get scammed or exploited funds, look for a spend time. And that sounds like you think, well, I would have learned from the first time. I'll see the others, but lose $1,000. And they think, I'm not going to get it longer because now I need $1,000 back. It's just someone who's been for the first time. It's shocking how many the next time say, I wonder if it was a scam. You're ready to get it back, so I wouldn't have to tell. But if you're exploited once, Go without issue, right?
First off, if you're numbers you can call, you're not going to figure that
Sharing the information you guys receive here. They're not the bigger size. Conversations about it. Because as you continue to share your message and ask about things that happens with dialogue. We're still used to just being. I'll do that next time. Share.
And I was just gonna add, that was my one takeaway as well, is that you have in your packets that you got today, you have information. Share with others before there's a problem, the easier it is to talk to those people if you suspect something with them or if you suspect something with yourself. And it opens that door for those different. Make the world better for others. You know what you thank you for I'll quickly go over in your black bags that you got today. You have the schedule of events. So our next breakout sessions start in about 5 minutes. They're upstairs. We have a breakout session of adult protective service. And then we also have the Medicare open demonstration. We have or I believe some meditation, some podcasts, enjoy the breakout session. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. Oh, and if I've got my staff people, can you be in the back 2 doors to hand out those materials? And so we can have everybody exit through the directly back doors. We'll get you a book and some information from what you learned today.
Yeah. But it's not something like there's so much fraud that that's up and coming. If assuming the crypto is what it's professed to be, there is room for it anyway. But there's so much fraud. I have friends who all right. Okay.
It's not. I was actually looking at some of the statistics and people are scared out of more money, but 18 to 25 is actually the most vulnerable for students. They don't have any money, so I don't know what, and that's what people are. Good to see you.
Well,